Hello, I'm Influence, and this is Thoughts While Thinking, and these opinions are mine. You can't have much influence if you don't think. And Young says that thinking is difficult, and that's why most people judge. So I guess most people are judging instead of thinking. Now think about that for a little bit. And then George Bernard Shaw said the 2% of the people think, and 3% think they're thinking, and 95% would rather die than think. Well, what kind of influence are they going to have? Well, we're going to talk a little bit about influence. And the true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but it's imagination. And you got to have some imagination to move forward. And it takes a lot of thinking to stir up that imagination. And knowledge is always having the information, and intelligence is the ability to use it to your advantage, and wisdom is being yourself in the process. Now think about that for a little bit. That does do some thinking. Well, we're going to work on some of that stuff. And knowledge is having the right answer, and intelligence is knowing how to ask the right questions. So are you asking the right questions to have the right influence on what's going on in your life today? And the function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically and intelligence and character. And that's the goal of education, or at least it was until they established that federal Department of Education in 1979. Now think about that and where we are on education today. And we're talking about going and having influence and thinking. And we got the process, and where does our influence come from? And what is your influence? Who are you influencing? Are you influencing anybody? Are you thinking about what's going on and influencing anybody? Well, I'm going to influence somebody if you'll subscribe. Now think about that. Thank you, Mertz, and I appreciate it. And here's the influence that we got today. It's the mass media and the social media, and we got to do something about what they're doing to us. They're brainwashing, and we're thinking for us, and we got to quit bowing our heads and screaming and get stand up and do our own thinking and analyze what's going on. And we're being spoon-fed by the media, and right now I think that most people don't think it's tasting all that good, and we got to do something. We got to move forward, and we're waking up to the influence that all this social media has on us and brainwashing us and driving us down the road to places we don't want to go. And it's kind of like they're giving us the eye test, but they don't give us nothing but the mass media and the high tech and what they want us to know. So we got to find out. And if you'll think about it, the mind control a few years ago was kind of swinging that silver watch and hypnotizing you and controlling your mind. Today, it's the social media that is got the mind control, and we're all marching to that. And and it's just one of those things that they wrote the book on influence, and you're reading in it and you're accepting it, and they're doing what they say. Now think about it. Influence is power. And they've got the power because they're influencing you, but you have the power too if you'll stand up and think and move forward. It don't take but just one person to do something. And influencer marketing, and you got to think about how you're going to go about that. Think about it. And the people in Washington sitting there saying, we can add those other taxes, and we just tell them we're going to save the planet. Well, think about it. Think about how we've been buying all that taxes, and they've been moving forward, and everybody's getting their cut out of all this tax, and we got to keep going. And we got to look at this knowledge that we have. It's just like our underwear. It needs to be. It's kind of nice to have, but you don't need to display it in the public. So you act instead of talk about it and think about it. And we got to get rid of and stop all this assholeology. We got to get back to some facts and truth in the matter, and we got to make it work. And one person standing up can make it all work and start it going. And you got a little megaphone there that calls your voice, and you got to voice it, and you got the free speech for right now anyway. And you got to do something and get your influence. Just like this guy here, he's got the stage of the mass media, and he's saying that air conditioning is going to destroy you. So we got to abide by heat and sweat and instead of running an air conditioner. Now think about that. What kind of influence is he having? And their IRS is just shaking it upside down, and they got all the influence on the world because they can put us in jail if we don't do what they say. Now think about that. Is that part of the Constitution? Is that constitutional? Sometimes I think about stuff like that. And Democrats didn't even let the engines cool down until they started adding more taxes. Now think about why they want to taxes. It causes inflation, and it stops your economy, and we going to work on that because they're going to try to tax the air that we breathe. Now think about that, and when they're talking about the environment. Now that's going to be some tax on your breathing, and the IRS is just laughing up a storm because they've been wanting to tax the air you breathe for a long time. And we got to do enough thinking and then have enough influence on what's going around to get rid of this puppeteers that we've been dancing to. And they're trying to poison our kids' minds, and they're planting a seed and let it grow. Well, if you plant the right seeds, the right plant grows. But if you plant the wrong seeds, then you got something else happening, and you got to think about that. What kind of seeds are they planting in the kids behind right now? You got to do something about your school because of major teachers unions. Are all for it, and they're pushing that sort of thing. And we got to fight for equality. That's what they're saying, and they want everything equal, and they want equal outcome. They don't want an equal start. And they're just brainwashing these kids with this LGBT in their books, and they're putting it in our schools. And think about it. The mind is a garden of thoughts, and the seeds can grow flowers or it could grow weeds. Now, what do they think we're growing in our kids' minds right now? I don't believe it's flowers. We got to move forward, and we got to think about this stuff. And what's done is done, and what's gone is gone, and what's best for life's lesson is learning how to let go and to move on. So we got to let go of our past and move on and get our freedom back, and we got to dance to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And think it is free, so do more of it. You're always wanting something free. Well, think. Do a little thinking. That's free. And you cannot be responsible. I cannot be responsible for what my face is when I'm talking to you, and you come up with this real dumb stuff. Oh my. And thinking men cannot be ruled. That is old Alex Ruggs again. And think about that, and that's the way it is. And then we got to get back to freedom and control of our own independence and power of it, and liberty, and call that and all. And that's thanks for watching. And these opinions are mine, and it's adios amigos, and we'll see you on the flip side.